Well?
Well?
Here we are
Here
home
we
in
are.
California again. I must tell them what happened before the show.
Uh-huh.
Came to your dressing room to say hello, and you were on the phone to the former president, asking him to do what?
Get my dress.
Mm-hmm.
I'd left my dress at home. And, I thought maybe I could borrow from you?
No. From Phil Donahue, you could, not me. Phil wears the dresses, not me. No, she was actually on the phone, and you've got some people with you, and you've got Secret Service men, and you left the house. Now, you're known as a very organized lady.
No, I'm not.
Well, you're
really.
not.
No. That's one of those things, Johnny, that people say about me.
Ah.
You know, that's one of the reasons I'm so glad to be here tonight, because I thought, tonight he can't say anything about me.
Who, me? That brings up an interesting question. Now, I don't know if you heard, I did a joke in the monologue. And for the past 8 years, as you well know, from time to time, I have done sketches and jokes in the monologue about the president and what's happening in Washington. Now, I know you don't stay up that late generally, but did any of the material ever get back to you? Did
Oh, yes.
people come to you and say... Now, what was your general reaction?
Oh,
Is there anything that I said you thought was maybe...
Well, now, do you want to tell everybody now that I never called you and asked you not to say anything?
That's true. Was that in the book?
No, it's not in the book. But
No.
just, I mean, I heard you say it on television.
Really?
Yeah.
That you'd call
I'm
me?
gonna hear from her tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
but I never
never-
said that you called. You never did call.
I never did call.
No.
No.
Well, that's what's called a comedic license.
Oh,
You see.
I see.
Does that get me off of the hook? I know we sent back a sketch once that somebody asked for. It was a sketch we did with the president's discussion in his office when he was trying to get together with the premier of China or something. It was like an old Abbott and Costello, who's on first.
Yeah.
And somebody asked for that, and we sent it back. Did the president get to see that?
I don't know.
Never mentioned it?
No.
Does he take criticism well? I mean, when
Oh, yes.
people make jokes about him?
Yeah, he does. He does. It rolls off him, you know. Gets to me a little bit.
Yeah. Are you more sensitive than he is when it comes to that?
Yeah, I am. I am. And I think, and that's why this book of my turn, 8 years of not being able to say anything.
Right.
You know.
Are there times when you're on the world stage like that, you want to speak out and you realize that every time you say anything is going to be quoted, oftentimes maybe misquoted, so you have to pull back and not say it?
Yeah, and then there were a lot of things that I just felt it wasn't right to talk about, you know, at that time. And, but then when it all kept, I mean, 8 years is a long time.
Right.
Nobody's been there for 8 years in a long time.
True.
And 8 years is a long time to stay quiet.
Right.
And have all these things said about you that just weren't true.
What do you think is the biggest misconception that you think maybe the public has about Nancy Reagan? If you had to pick out something.
Well, I think first, when I first got there, they said I was a fluff head.
Yeah.
You know. That all I was interested in was clothes and
Right.
shopping and, you know, all that.
Decorating and so forth.
Yeah.
Right.
Then, I guess after Ronnie was shot, there was a kind of a quiet period there.
They called a truce for a while.
Yeah.
Right.
Then all of a sudden I was running the world.
Mm-hmm.
I was nuclear decisions and all of that. I kind of went like this.
But you turned the press around for a while. You were getting a lot of criticism, and I think, was it the Gridiron Club that you
Yeah.
went to and made a surprise appearance? I don't think the president even knew you were on the program. You got up
No.
and went backstage, and somebody had written a very clever piece of material where you came out and sang and
Secondhand.
danced to Secondhand Rose, but it was secondhand clothes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How did that come about? Who suggested that?
I think it was Sheila Tate,
Mhm.
who was my press girl.
Right.
And she knew that the press had been so unrelenting that they were obviously going to do something on
Right.
me. So she said, why don't you, we'll find out what it is, and you do something, and you take them on. And I said, oh, no, no, I'll take myself on.
Right.
But I'm not going to take them on. So we came to that agreement, and I got into the darndest outfit you ever saw in your whole life. I looked like every bag lady you've ever seen.
Right.
And I was so scared. Oh, I was scared. I mean, the Gridiron Club, if you don't know, is made up of very, very important people. And Sheila said afterwards that when I left the podium,
Right.
that one of them turned, that she heard one of them turn to somebody at their table and say, boy, Mrs. Reagan has left. I'll bet she's...
Ticked off.
Yeah, ticked off. Yeah.
We might have had a first there, folks. I was hoping against hope, but you held in.
So then I went out and did it, and the minute that they laughed, I knew it was okay.
So you killed them.
You know,
Because
well,
you were having fun with yourself and trying to change that image that had been prevalent there for a while.
Yeah.
And that really turned it around, didn't it, for a while?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
It did.
We have to take a break here and do a commercial. We're coming right back. Stay where you are.
Sears got a pool for you.
Your Piglet and Tigger too.
$2 each with any $20 purchase. Hurry, they're going fast.
Get your Piglet, Tigger and Pooh.
Disney's Winnie the Pooh, just $2 this weekend for you.
Ever since my brother Tom got this Magnavox 52-inch big screen TV,
The show's gonna start. Come on.
he stopped going to the movies. The picture is huge, sharp, and brighter than any ordinary TV.
And I get great seats.
Plus, Magnavox has a 100-watt JBL sound system. It's the same Dolby surround sound you hear at the movies.
Yeah, and I don't have to stand in line in the rain anymore.
Tom, it doesn't always rain when you go to the movies.
Not anymore.
Magnavox. Smart choice. Very smart. If you've gone all day without any crunchy roasted almonds in pure milk chocolate, now's the time to correct that with a Hershey Almond Bar. Hershey, the great American chocolate bar.
Everything you want, everything you need is at Macy's After Thanksgiving Sale this Friday and Saturday only.
We're a part of your life.
These days, everyone's going back to the future, where people are looking at the world through very different glasses. Now bring part of Back to the Future back with you. Drop by any Pizza Hut restaurant and get a pair of futuristic solar shades, inspired by the movie Back to the Future Part 2. Only $1.99 with any Pizza Hut pizza. Collect a different pair each week while supplies last. Solar shades from Pizza Hut. They're going like there's no tomorrow.
Every day, Channel 2 News works for you with timely coverage and complete news reporting.
Bringing you thorough and accurate information is a responsibility we take very seriously.
That's why the partnership between NBC Nightly News and Channel 2 News is so important.
Channel 2 News, working for you.
We are back and talking with First Lady Nancy Reagan. We are back. Let me ask you, you're now back as a private citizen, and yet, as all former presidents or first ladies have Secret Service protection that travel with you all the time. Does that get a little intrusive on your private life when you want to do something, to have all the people around all the time?
No, but then, you know, Johnny, I'm sure that I look at Secret Service differently than most people.
Yes.
I mean, if it weren't for the Secret Service, I wouldn't have a husband.
True.
It saved his life. And so I look at them differently. I'm very glad to have them.
Right. You mentioned about being in the public eye for 8 years. If it's constitutionally, there was an amendment where a president could run for 3 terms, would you have wanted to see the president run again and have another 4 years center stage?
I don't think I probably would have. I know there were things that he still wanted to do. I didn't want him really to run for the second term, but I was wrong, because
Right.
look what happened in the second term. The whole relationship between Russia and our country, Gorbachev and Ronnie, and what it opened up. Look what's happening now. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just unbelievable.
Changing almost
what's
faster than we
happening.
can imagine.
Yeah. So I was wrong. But, and you know, it really has been longer than 8 years. There was 8 years in Sacramento.
Right.
8 years in Washington. And the 4 years in between were really not private.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 20 years. That's a long time, you know.
Let me ask you about, we can get to other things in the book in a moment, but when you have to entertain leaders from other countries, state dinners, there's protocol, diplomacy, did you ever do something that was really goofy? You know, out of, you're sitting and talking with somebody and you get the person confused and you do something that all of a sudden, it would be perfectly normal to do.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember anything that you did? It was just all of a sudden you said, why the hell did I say that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't think I ever said anything. But a couple of times, I did one thing one time. I did lots of things. But one time that I remember, I'd walk fast. And I'm not aware that I'm walking fast. But everybody's running behind me, and they keep saying, slow down. So we're walking into the state dining room, and you walk in four abreast.
Right.
You walk in like this, and all of a sudden, I'm aware that there's nobody on either side of me, and I'm out there all alone. And I think, oh, boy, this must look just awful, just terrible. I can see the press now saying, well, there she is, leading the way, you know. And so from then on, I crept into the... But the funniest was Ronnie at state dinner we had for Mitterrand. And I went to my table with President Mitterrand, and he went to his table with Madame Mitterrand. And she was walking ahead of him, and she got just so far, and she couldn't get any farther. And he kept saying, you go that way. And finally, the interpreter came up. She said something to him, and he couldn't understand in French, and he couldn't understand it. And the interpreter came up, and she translated to Ronnie. She said, she says she can't go any farther because you're standing on her dress.
Exactly. That's the kind of stuff. That's what I meant. When you wrote this book, did you think it was going to get the kind of flap that it has? You've created a little bit of a firestorm here.
Yeah,
and somebody said you predicted, you thought the reviewers might be unkind to you. Is that true?
I really didn't think it would create a flap. I don't know why it should, really, because for 8 years, I took whatever anybody said about me, and there wasn't any flap.
Right.
So now, if I say what really happened, and I'm the only one really that can say what really happened, or how I felt at a particular time, you know, then I don't know why there should be a flap.
Yeah, well, some people feel it was a little vindictive against certain people that were close to the president and his aides.
No.
I mean, I don't imagine you have any cookouts with Don Reagan, do you, and his family, or backyard barbecues or anything like that?
No, I don't think I'm number one on this hit parade.
Right.
No, it certainly was never meant to be vindictive, and I don't think it is vindictive. I mean, gosh, what about all the things that were said about me?
Yeah. Have you heard many of the people that you talk about in the book? Have they called you anyway and said that maybe they're displeased or they thought you treated them fairly or anything?
No. Haven't heard from Don.
Haven't heard from Don?
No, I haven't heard from Don.
I wonder why. We have to take another break. I'm sorry, but we're coming back. Stay where you are. No barbecue, huh?
Did you know if you're an MCI, Execunet, or a Sprint Dial 1 customer and your business spends over $50 a month, you could be in the wrong plan. You can save money with the new AT&T Pro Watts. It works off your regular business lines, and all you have to do is sign up once. And you automatically get bigger and bigger discounts on bills from $50 to $5,000 a month. The more you spend, the bigger your discount, automatically. Call us. We'll even waive the sign-up fee. New AT&T Pro Watts, another AT&T advantage.
More than 1 million 1,000 test miles ago, Lexus engineers set out in pursuit of perfection. They arrived in separate cars, introducing the V8-powered LS400 luxury sedan and the V6-powered ES250 sports sedan. Lexus, the result of our relentless pursuit of perfection.
Turn off your troubles, turn on your hotspot. Time to whirl all your woes away.
The new Pollenex Whirlpool Hot Spa relieves tension with millions of warm, surging bubbles that massage your aching muscles. What a feeling.
Turn off your troubles, turn on your hotspot. Time to whirl all your woes away.
Perfect way to turn off troubles at participating Ace, Best, and Service merchandise.
Miss Levitt's big Christmas kickoff sale with outstanding bargains. Like this Simmons luxury quilt bedding. Any size, only $99 each piece. Twin size, $99 each piece. Full size, $99 each piece. Queen size, $99 each piece. King size, $99 each piece. And that's just one of the bargains you'll find at Levitt's big Christmas kickoff sale.
Tonight, Late Night Go Showbiz with Wayne Newton, plus Lisa Bonet and more.
That's right, we're giving away $100,000 in cash.
How far would Ann Jillian go to get Tim Matheson?
I need the biggest suite you've got. It's $1,500 per night. But only need an hour.
Catch them in their Little White Lies Monday.
Channel 2 and Chevron invite your family to a holiday in the park at Astro World. For only $6.95, you'll see Bugs Bunny, all dressed up and ready for Christmas. Sled on real snow, walk through a winter wonderland, and try your skill at ice skating. The family tradition continues at Astro World.
Today, Lancôme Paris enters the era of chronocosmetology with Noctazome Renewal Night Treatment. With its unique time-release Diazome system technology, Noctazome supplies vital ingredients all through the night, a definite beauty action, so every complexion can wake up to fresh, clear, smooth, beautiful-looking skin.
Like Noctazome help you put your best face forward each morning.
Noctazome Renewal Night Treatment, Lancôme Paris. Le Bon Vivant, $14.50 with any Lancôme purchase. Available at Dillard's.
They predicted a gloomy year for everyone. But they didn't count on Mazda, with cars and trucks engineered to feel just right. Now Mazda is racing toward an all-time sales record, with record-setting deals that can save you up to $1,000 now. The Mazda Race to the Record. At your Greater Houston area Mazda dealer now.
Channel 2, TPRC-TV, Houston.
We're back. You've, how many interview shows have you done about the book? You've done quite a few, haven't you?
Oh, gosh, I've done maybe half a dozen of this type of show. And then one day in New York, I did 28 satellite interviews in one day.
Do you get tired of asking the same old questions over and over again?
Yeah, well, it's hard doing those interviews. I've never heard of them before, but you learn a lot, certainly, in the book business.
Who was the toughest? Now, Mike Wallace, who was a friend of yours and has been for many years. There was some controversy that a lot of people thought he treated you unkindly. You want to address that or comment on this at all?
We taped for an hour and 20, 40 minutes, something like that, for a 15, 20-minute segment. And I just wish that a lot that had ended up on the floor had ended up on the screen.
Yeah, that's called, I guess, editing. You know, you can take things and...
Yes.
Yes. Somebody said that Henry Kissinger once refused to do film shows for that very reason, because he wanted it live, so later on they couldn't take it and re-edited.
Yeah.
And do you think that he betrayed a friendship?
Oh, I hate to think that. I mean, gosh, we go back so many years. We go back, I mean, Mike and my mother were friends in Chicago. We go back 50 years.
Yeah. So you thought maybe it was going to be a little gentler than it was?
Well, I didn't expect...
Have you talked to him about it, did you say, Mike?
No.
No barbecue with Mike either, huh? No.
Well, I hope not. He's not in the same category.
Now, how about Phil Donahue? How about Phil Donahue?
Phil Donahue couldn't have been nicer. Really couldn't have been nicer. And I was so afraid that I think I slept 4 hours that night before I went on his show. But he couldn't have been nicer, and he asked good questions, and the audience asked good questions.
Right.
Phone-ins were good questions, and I had a chance to say all the things that I say in the book.
Right. This is a bestseller, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there another book?
No, this is it. This is it. This is my turn, and...
Nothing that you'd like to get off your chest that you haven't said in this book?
No, except I hope that everybody will read the book and not the excerpts.
Yeah. I've read the book.
I know you have.
I find it's a fascinating book.
No.
Can I ask you about the astrology? Do you get tired of answering that question?
No?
That's one of the things, you know, that when it hit the papers, wow.
I know.
That you had apparently sought the advice, I believe, of a lady by the name of Joan Quigley, and the president's schedule was being determined by certain propitious days, and that created a lot of flap.
That all came out of the shooting. And you can't really describe what you go through when your husband is shot and almost dies. And most people didn't know that. There were 2 times that they came to me and said they couldn't find his pulse. He was very close to going into shock, and if he had, then that would have been it. It was very close. Now, everybody has their way of handling that particular kind of trauma, and that particular kind of trauma is very special. And I talked to my minister, I talked to friends, and then I had a friend call me and say, gee, he had talked to this girl and woman, and she could have told me that Ronnie shouldn't have done a thing on that day.
Right.
And I thought, my Lord, I could have prevented it, you know. And so I called her. I didn't think I was doing anything so wrong, and I still don't think I did anything so wrong. It helped me through really a very rough time, very tough time. And
I think some of the criticism came down was that someone unbeknownst to, say, the Secret Service was making changes in the president's schedule without the knowledge and really controlling, you know, his schedule.
Well, but the changes that were made were things like, would it be better to leave at 2 o'clock or 2:30? I mean, you know, there wasn't any great... and there were no political decisions ever made on astrology. I didn't hurt anybody, except I embarrassed Ronnie, and I was sorry for that.
But it certainly hit the front pages, didn't it?
Certainly did. Wrong way.
Look, we're delighted to have you here tonight. And I hope you and the president enjoy your retirement as private citizens. And I thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you, John.
And sharing this with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
Sears challenges all so-called superstores to try to top this value. A 52-inch projection TV that comes with 2 extra speakers for just $53 a month. With Sears' tremendous buying power, we got a manufacturer's reduction to pass great savings on to you. Now this TV is $500 less than our usual great low price. Thanks. At Sears and Sears Brand Central now.
Behind every American Express card is a tradition of world service, helping in ways that no one else can, with 1,400 offices worldwide. Automatic protection for the things you buy. 24-hour card replacement. In these ways and more, American Express...
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir. Did you hear that outburst when I said you're doing a nice Christmas vacation?
Guess it's my turn.
Yes. You know, Now, you reminded me before we even start.
Yes.
Not to cross your legs tonight.
Well, you're supposed to say that at home, not here.
Oh, I see.
No, that's true. I've been doing interviews in this position.
Uh-huh.
And my foot fell asleep the other day, and I got up, and it was like this. This happened to me a number of years ago, and it was out literally for about a month and a half. I had to go into therapy, and yeah, it goes numb. There's a nerve in here, which I know you're not familiar with nerves below the waist, but... You know, it's funny, just before the show...
What's funny?
Just before the show, I was also on the phone with Ron, because I couldn't get my... and he sent me his suit, so these are nice people.
Isn't that nice?
These are nice people, I must say. And it was...
Called him personally, huh?
I actually have the book, and I think that it's a good thing that she did that, because for 8 years, to not be able to say anything significant, and for that matter, Ron wasn't able to either.
Sounds good. Sure. Pretty gutsy. You wait till she's gone, and then take a shot at her.
It's a silly, silly thing I said.
Yeah, it was silly. Well, you're a silly person. That's why you get the big bucks.
Yeah.
So, do you have a nice Thanksgiving?
Oh, lovely.
Family, relatives?
We had about 15 of them.
You're kidding.
And we do every year. We usually have that on Christmas, too, but this year we're going away. I carved the turkeys, which were a little bit overdone. The legs just went like that. Somebody I know, and we had 5 kinds of potatoes. I don't know if this happens in your home, but there's always too much food, and always one of the 5 of the same kind. Look at this, yams. Yams. Look, mashed potatoes. Hey, potato salad. That's great. So many potatoes. I mean, today, you know, I've put on about 20 pounds just from potatoes.
What is the difference between a yam and a sweet potato? Anybody know?
I think it's education.
Is that the same thing?
I think that...
Is the yam the same thing as the sweet potato?
Not really
They're different color. One is yellow and one is orange. Which is which?
Yeah. And you
Does that make any difference? Does anybody
on,
care at all? Why am I talking that way? Why did I bring that up? What's wrong with me? You brought potatoes up, and I just pick up. That's what. As a good host, you pick up on that. Whatever the guest says, you just pick up. You said potatoes, and I went to yams.
My little girl, 4 years old, said grace.
Did she?
This is unusual since we're not accustomed to grace a lot at the house. And but on Thanksgiving, I thought it'd be nice. Nobody understood her. I said, "Go ahead, honey." She sat on my lap, said grace, said, "Thank you for this, Jeff." Amen. Nobody heard her.
But that's sweet.
I had to translate. It was sweet, actually.
You have what, three daughters?
I have 3 daughters. Youngest is Emily. She's 13 months. And talking quite a bit on the phone. Doesn't make any sense. She puts the phone on her shoulder, just rests it there and goes, Emily, can I have the phone? Can't understand a word. I have one who's 6.5, who...
6.5 months?
No, 6.5 years.
Oh, of course I will. 3. That's too close together. Well, silly me. What kind of relatives do you have? These aunts and uncles? All right.
Aunts and uncles, in-laws, plenty of in-laws. People you don't know. You know, Christmas Vacation, the movie, is roughly based on what Christmas is like at my home every year, which is 20 people. There's always an uncle with a cigar in the back room, and the tree goes, and you don't know what happened. And John Hughes and I got together and wrote something based on this. That's why this year we won't be having Christmas at home. I'm going to go away and ski.
When you grew up, how was Christmas?
Yeah.
You big family or what?
Yes, we were, but, and this will give me the opportunity to say hi to them, my brother, Ned, and Joan. I'd like to apologize for my behavior this summer on the tennis court. Mixed doubles.
Weren't several people in your house named Ned?
Yeah. Then there's Ned, my father, Ned, his father. There's a lot of Neds. I'm the only Chevy. Yeah. Plenty of Neds. When we had Christmas, though, when I was a kid, the best parts really were when Ned and I...
Which Ned is that?
The first one.
First one.
No, the last one, my brother, a year older than me. We'd get up at about 2 in the morning, get down to the tree. Gave Mom a lot of time. Sure. Usually you wait till sunup, but we were sneaking down the stairs by then. And for me, actually, quite frankly, it is still the best time. It's when everybody's going home and the kids are ready for bed and we're able to do the things that parents do, get it ready for Santa, the things you do. Mm-hmm. And the morning, when they open the presents. The rest you can just throw out the window as far as I'm concerned. Right. It's too chaotic and Too much mayhem, too much commercialization, too many presents, too much food.
Don't you shop at all? Don't you go out and...
Yeah, I do shop, but and that's very difficult because the more people you know, the more angry you get as you're waiting in line. So it's not Christmas cheer by the end of the shopping. It's, I don't care who they are.
What'd they get us last year?
Yeah, what'd they get us?
Yeah. Did you do the movie here, or did you shoot, I mean, his location, or did you do
We shot it here. We shot it in Colorado for snow. Supposed to be just a couple of miles outside of Chicago. We're at 11,000 feet. People are throwing up. People are sent home. It's altitude sickness, 8 feet of snow. And then we shot it all here on the lot with fake snow.
I think we have a film clip, don't we?
I think we do. We might have a clip.
Isn't that strange?
Clark Griswold doing a little Christmas shopping. He's a little bit shy because he meets somebody who is kind of attractive, and we might have a clip of that.
Oh, I bet we do. Why don't you watch the monitors, and we'll see if you're right.
Let's do that.
Can I show you something?
I was just smiling. I was just browsing.
For your wife or your girlfriend?
What? What happened? Woof. I guess wouldn't be any... Wouldn't be the Christmas shopping season if the stores were any less hotter than they are. Whew, it is warm in here.
Well, you have your coat on.
Yes. Oh, do I? How did that happen?
Because it's cold out?
Yes. It is. It's a bit nipply out. I mean nipply out. What did I say? Nipple? There is a nip in the air, though.
Can I take something out for you?
I see. No takes at all, huh? No reactions, no takes. Hey, used them all up, huh?
Yeah, I used everything up on that.
You used all the takes you've been saving up for years for that
Lovely
scene.
family picture. I don't know how this clip got in there. Some kind of edgy adult stuff.
With kids, now, there are a lot of, all the pictures seem to come out, around Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's the big...
And this is the time to take your kids, too. I took my kids to Little Mermaid the other day.
Is that Disney?
Yeah. But I, quite frankly, I don't know. You know, when we were children, and they had... The female lead usually had a lovely soprano voice, maybe a...
Like Snow White.
Yeah, or Leontine Price. Yeah, Snow White. But this is the voice of the mermaid is like a 15-year-old cheerleader with the brain of an egg timer. You know, probably the last thing she read was a Pillsbury cake mix box. And I don't know what our kids are supposed to aspire to. Even the prince is, he's built, his neck goes like this to the shoulders. It's all bodybuilding now.
Right.
And he's a real deep thinker, too. You can tell that he's...
Prince probably on steroids, huh?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Got about as much get up and go as a one-toed sloth.
So you'd rate this picture not high on...
No, it's all right. It's just that my children are going, oh, it's so great and romantic. And these are just dumb people. A dumb fish woman and a dumb prince with a body like this, like he's never done anything else but this. I don't know what that's all about.
Well, I'm sure the studio will appreciate your endorsement.
No. I like that studio. I plan to work with them in the next 40 years.
Do we have to go somewhere, Fred, or are you just testing the winds? Well,
we have the beautiful music coming up.
oh, I know that.
Oh.
We have to do...
Go to the commercial.
I know. That's the end of my turn, then, pretty much.
Okay. Show business is cruel. We'll be right back. Stay where you are. That's about it, buddy.
Sears challenges so-called superstores to top this.
Well? Here we are home in
are.
California again. I must tell them what happened before the show.
Uh-huh.
Came to your dressing room to say hello, and you were on the phone to the former president, asking him to do what?
Get my dress.
Mm-hmm.
I'd left my dress at home. And I thought maybe I could borrow from you?
No. From Phil Donahue, you could even than he is when it comes to that?
Yeah, I am. And I think, and that's why this book of my turn, 8 years of not being able to say anything.
Right.
you know.
Are there times when you're on the world stage like that, you want to speak out and you realize that every time you say anything is going to be quoted, oftentimes maybe misquoted, so you have to pull back and not say it?
Yeah, and then there were a lot of things that I just felt it wasn't right to talk about, you know, at that time. And, but then when it all kept, I mean, 8 years is a lot.
About the president and what's happening in Washington. Now, I know you don't stay up that late generally, but did any of the material ever get back to you? Did
oh, yes.
people come to you and say... Now, what was your general reaction?
Oh, yes.
Is there anything that I said you thought was maybe...
Well, now, do you want to tell everybody now that I never called you and asked you not to say anything?
That's true. Was that in the book?
No, it's not in the book. But
No.
just, I mean, I heard you say it on television.
Really?
Yeah.
That you'd call in?
I'm gonna hear from her tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
but I never said that you called. You never did call.
I never did call.
No.
No.
Well, that's what's called a comedic license.
Oh.
You see.
I see.
Does that get me off of the hook? I know we sent back a sketch once that somebody asked for. It was a sketch we did with the president's discussion in his office when he was trying to get together with the premier of China or something. It was like an old Abbott and Costello, who's on first.
Yeah.
Somebody asked for that, and we sent it back. Did the president get to see that?
I don't know.
Never mentioned it?
No.
Does he take criticism well? I mean, when
Oh, yes.
people make jokes about him?
Yeah, he does. He does. It rolls off him, you know. Gets to me a little bit.
Yeah. Are you more sensitive? Not me. Phil wears the dresses, not me. No, she was actually on the phone, and you've got some people with you, and you've got Secret Service men, and you left the house. Now, you're known as a very organized lady.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
Really. No, no. That's one of those things, Johnny, that people say about me.
Ah.
You know, that's one of the reasons I'm so glad to be here tonight, because I thought, tonight he can't say anything about me.
Who, me? That brings up an interesting question. Now, I don't know if you heard, I did a joke in the monologue. And for the past 8 years, as you well know, from time to time, I have done sketches and jokes in the monologue